Okay, now we are officially in post-show. We're done with listening to Jim Jeffries. We've been listening to Jim Jeffries for a little bit. Who is amazing. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was an encounter I had at the gas station on my way up here. I stopped at the gas station for gas, and I was approached by a woman from the Alabaster Jar Ministry.
He kept the paper.
Well, she handed it to me. I was going, what else were we going to do with it?
Yeah, rude not to take it.
The pasty white jar.
Okay, go on.
So, like, and I just got this, like, so I've got this handout she gave me. The top of it has a Bible verse. It's Luke 7, verses 47 through 50. Therefore, I tell you, her sins, which were many, have been forgiven. Your faith has saved you. Go in peace. So she came up to me and she had things to sell. She was a homeless person working for this ministry. And she had a clearly memorized speech to give. And she's like, I used to be homeless and I was a drug addict and I was abusing my children. But then I went to Alabaster Jar Ministry and I learned to love Jesus. And through God, I can do all things. And it's been the most wonderful transformation, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so this is the first one I want to talk
The
about.
black guy from Office Space.
Yeah, that's exactly what
I don't know what that is.
You never seen
I've
Office
seen Office
Space?
Space, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Remember the guy?
Oh, yeah, the crack guy. Yeah.
And then he's like,
It was
I wasn't-
exactly like that. I swear to God, it was a white woman. It was exactly like that, but a white woman. So she's telling me this whole thing, and like I'm leaning against my car, and there's the little American Atheist logo there, and there's the flying spaghetti monster next to it. I'm leaning against it, and I'm trying to be respectful. You know, I'm listening to her story. But I can't stop. I'm like smiling. I'm just like laughing at her. I like, and not because I want to, not because I want to be addicted to this woman who like clearly has crack problems.
Okay.
This looks awesome. We have to always keep it here. Katie Scary's right. Jesus, disembodied Jesus head has to stay.
You're gonna move it, and then it's not gonna stay put.
Oh, okay. Okay. Leave Jesus there. Okay.
Well, that's the way his head is on most crosses. Just
Right?
chilling like that.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the first thing. Was like I felt so bad, but like the words like, I could do all things through Jesus. I'm like, I couldn't help it. Like I wasn't trying to be a dick to this woman,
Right.
but Jesus, I could not help it.
So
Has anyone been in that situation
Yeah.
where people are telling you religious shit and you're just like, I can't hold it together?
Yeah, recently at work, these Jehovah's Witness ladies came in, and they're like, is Lisa here, my coworker? I guess she always talks to them. No, she's off today. Well, ma'am, here's this whatever. And
here's the little piece of paper that we want
she
you
did
to
her little
have.
speech,
here,
and I said,
you throw this away.
I said, I'm actually not a Christian. I said, but I think my boss says I'll give it to her. Oh, she's here, and I was like, yes, but she's busy. And and
took
then-
one for the boss.
Hold on, let me backtrack. Whenever I said I'm actually not a Christian, she says we all are, dear. And
Shut up!
Yeah,
what does that even mean?
I just looked at her. I was like, okay, well, my boss, and then that's whenever I told her about my boss, and she wanted me. No one's watching.
Yes, they are.
Okay, hold on. She
There's
said
8 people watching.
she wanted me to go get my boss. Like she's like, well, she's back there. What is she doing? I said she's busy. She's doing her paperwork. And she's like, okay, well, here you go. And I said, okay, thank you. Have a good day. I brought it to my boss, and she's like, get that shit away from me. And she said, she threw it in the trash. She's Christian, but she's one of those Christians versus other Christians.
Sure. Well, aren't all Christians those kind of Christians?
Christianity's
She's
better
like, they're
than-
not Christians.
This
They're
is a
Jehovah's
Christian.
Witnesses.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They're
shut up.
Christian.
They're Christian. Yeah, but she threw it away, and I thought that was funny.
So after she got done with her story, she's like, would you like to buy Rice Krispie treats? Or I have hair bows.
Why are you talking like her for?
Because that's what she sounded like. I'm sorry, it's what she sounded like. So I was like, I'm not really interested. But then I started on the street epistemology, and I'm like,
I think this is one of the people that Anthony Bosco would say, like, "Oh, this
Don't.
person probably."
Probably so. But I think Anthony Magnabosco would also say, don't do this Christian Crisis Association thing.
Yeah, I think he'd also say that too.
So I think we're well past the point of
Anthony's a much better person than us.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, we're not really being dishonest. We're just
Not telling the truth.
letting them infer whatever they want to infer.
We're letting them infer things that aren't true
Yeah, you know,
and not concerned about it.
every tool in the toolbox, right? And Anthony has his thing, and we have ours. Okay.
I like to tell people how stupid they are.
We're not going to lie to them. We're going to be very straightforward. The thing is, the facade is a little misleading. That's what it is. Okay. Anyway, so I started in with street epistemology with this woman, and I'm like, oh, so you can do anything with Jesus. How do you know that? And God, at this point in the night, I don't even know what she said. But like, what I quickly realized during the course of this conversation is someone who wants your money really badly will go anywhere you want them to. They're absolutely the best candidates for street epistemology.
A crackhead, yes.
Yes, she was ready to join my atheist army.
Just as long as she sold those Rice Krispie treats.
Right, like she's all about the alabaster jar ministry as long as they are giving her stuff. But if I'm going to give her stuff, she's all about, wow, that's a really good point you're making. I've never really thought about it that way. She was like willing to, she was so eager to accede to any question.
If you had a Jesus pinata there, she probably would have.
Will you hit Jesus? Yes. Will you buy one of my Rice Krispie treats? I felt bad because, like, okay, first I felt bad because I was laughing while she was telling me about how Jesus makes her do it. It makes her so powerful. I felt genuinely bad about that because she was... It's not her fault, right?
Not anymore, really. Her current behavior is uncontrollable, I would think.
Isn't this like one of your first times doing that? It's okay.
No, it's really not. I wish it were.
Do you remember we tried it on that blonde at karaoke and then we gave up? We were like, what church should you go to? And she told us, and then we just gave up. We're like, never mind.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. You know what? We're drinking. But I genuinely did feel bad that I could not keep a straight face while she was telling me about, now Jesus is in my life. And I was like, oh.
I feel bad that this ministry requires the people they help to go out in the street and proselytize to people that are just trying to get gas. Like, help
Rice
people,
Krispie treats.
don't help people, knock this the fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
Although I do wonder is that like real? Did you try Googling that church, or if it's just some thing?
There's a number. Do we want to call it real quick?
Call
our
her.
phone lines are open 24 hours a day. We could.
Go for
Just
it.
call him real quick.
Do it.
Don't
be scared.
I know. What do we want to ask them?
why would you send people
Yeah,
out
why
there?
would you send homeless people clearly in need out to useless junk?
You should send them to rehab.
Take it easy, Spence.
Jeez, getting violent over there.
Wow. Rednecks are home. But some people are really primed to go with street epistemology, which is what I learned today. It's like, and I felt bad about that too. I felt bad that like she was willing to. She was reading into my questions. I was like, "Oh, how do you know that?" And she assumed that like I didn't believe, so she was willing to say, "Oh, yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. I don't really know that."
Should have like pretended you were a Satanist or something. And
I wonder how far I could have pushed it. I really do.
be like, oh, well, my Lord and Savior, Satan, says differently. So you're just like, oh, yeah, Satan. That's a good point. Yeah.
I kind of liken it to, like a used car salesman will tell you whatever
Whatever you want to hear.
whatever you want to hear. So you're like, oh yeah, I really like these cars because they go super duper fast, even though they don't go super duper fast. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, they're awesome. I drive one all the time.
Right. And I think it would be less effective on this woman.
Yeah, I mean, because the next person that she needs something
Right.
from.
She'll go with them.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
I mean, it's probably what she did for this.
Well, and
She was not being honest about her
Well,
her reactions to my questions.
She's being manipulated by this church
Exactly.
into selling their shit so that they might give her a bed to sleep on.
the same reason why you feel bad for the way you handled it is the reason that
They should
charities
feel bad.
feel bad. Because I mean, you at least didn't ask for it and plan it and
And try to profit off of her.
exactly.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not giving you any money because I'm not gonna. I felt. I don't know.
She's clearly in need of help, but I mean...
But most of the money is going to go to these people.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
alabaster
it's not like they're going
jar
to take that
people.
money and be like, oh, let's help get you into a rehab
Right.
program with
No.
this.
Then you should do what Victor and I do whenever we come across homeless people or people like that. We
Shoot
ask
them.
no
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
no.
Bum
If they're like,
fights.
do you have any money? And we're like, oh, what? Are you hungry? Yeah. I was like, come in the store. We'll buy you something to eat. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's a good way to handle it because then you know they're getting something that they need rather
Yeah.
than
I don't give money. I
that's
go
good.
and
That's
I
a
buy
better-
them for it.
That's a
I do
better
that with
way to
everybody,
handle
not just homeless people. I do that with my own family. I don't let them borrow shit. I'm like, what do you need? Diapers? I'll go get them at Walmart right now. Fuck
Right.
you.
it. And the fuck you is free. That's the best
Take
part.
your fucking diapers. You fucking baby.
Loafer.
And if they're just like
Freeloader.
no, if they say no, I'll get them. Then they're fucking lying. They wanted it for something
They wanted
else.
something for us. Yeah. Whatever order those were supposed to go in.
We got it.
Ryan, give us a 30-second story.
Okay, so I dealt with Christians just a couple days ago.
I'm so sorry.
If nobody's familiar, I live surrounded by really old people. Like surrounded. I live basically in a retirement community because I do maintenance there. Anyway, they all invited me to some potluck dinner thing that I said I would show up to for a couple minutes. I showed up half an hour late specifically to avoid this situation.
Because you're a good person.
I show up half an hour late because I don't want to show up when they do their 15-minute fucking prayer before they eat. So I show up and some people are outside and they're cooking over fryers and stuff like that. And I walk up and I'm like, hi, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a loud person, but they all look at me funny because the people inside are praying. They're doing the pre-meal prayer. And I didn't know. I walked around the corner and saw people I knew and I said hi. So I felt like a tiny bit bad and I got quiet immediately and I just stood there. Like I quit drinking my coffee, out of respect.
Jesus hates when people
Right.
are like
So-
drinking coffee when he's getting blown by believers. Yeah.
So the prayer is going on for like another minute or so yet. And the guys are outside and they're cooking fried fish or whatever. And they're cooking in fryers and they're like trying to listen to the prayer and they're trying to watch the fish and everything. They end up having to take it off during the middle of the prayer because they were going to burn the fish. And I'm like, well,
Right.
maybe Jesus wanted you to burn the fish. I'm like,
If I were you, I would have been like, you want me to do that?
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what they should have been like, right? Because some of them know. I don't go around going, hell, you all are stupid. I'm an atheist. But if somebody like brings it up, I'm like, oh no, I'm an atheist.
Do they know what that means?
Probably.
Yeah,
not.
they're
Some of them
old.
might.
They're not. I mean, only some of them are.
My boss.
Senile.
Like
yeah.
very reasonably intelligent Christians don't know what that means.
Yeah, well, my boss, she knows what that means now because I
You
met
told
her,
her.
and she didn't know what that was before I started working there. And she tells everybody she's an atheist. Don't listen to her.
What?
She says
That's
things like that.
illegal.
Huh?
That's
she
prob-
says it in a funny way, like she picks
It's
up.
really illegal.
There's a clause in,
No, but
in the Constitution that says, like,
friends.
if it's funny, it's
We're
okay.
friends. She and I are friends. We pick on each other. I tell her how dumb she is too.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's illegal too.
But it's
So
not,
is eating hot Cheetos
it's
and
not-
throwing away in the bag without paying
And,
for them.
and admitting it live on a recorded show.
Dude,
yes.
and she says she wants to check out the show too.
Oh, you're fucked.
I'll pay for them when I get back home.
well, do you think she's going to pay $1 for post show and then watch this?
But she
episode
said
or
it in the regular show.
No, I said it in the actual
oh, you
show.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Wah, wah.
You were.
But I don't think she's gonna listen to it all the way through because one of my dad's friends listened to it, and then one of my other friends listened to it. I was like, "Did you listen to the whole thing?" He said, "I got it halfway through." I was like, "What? It was boring." He's like, "Y'all kept getting sidetracked."
That's true.
That's the
true.
point of
The
the
point.
show. Like, people wouldn't watch if we just read stories.
Did he listen to the knife dildo part? I mean, that's like,
Yes.
oh wow, okay. Like it's like that was like the meat of the show, so to speak.
Well, that happened towards the beginning, so we riffed on that quite a bit.
Okay, so it's really hot in
It's
here,
hot
but
in here.
it doesn't need to be.
That's
My mom thought it
really
was
loud.
funny though. She kept.
Doesn't need to be
I don't
audibly
care.
hot.
She kept laughing at the part when you're like, "We're gonna talk about Tony's camel toe." Like she started busting out laughing, and then she kept rewinding it back. And she's like, "I want to meet them."
Oh dear Lord.
I'll bring her to meetup sometime.
Yeah, right.
She's
Bring it
she's a
on.
Christian, and she's kind of.
Well, bring
So-
it on. We have Christians
Oh,
coming.
if she wants to meet me and meet the people.
Hey, I brought my mom to meet up.
That
She's
wasn't
not a Christian. I mean, yeah, right.
No, she's not.
Yeah, my mother.
okay.
is.
So last thing before we get out of here.
Amanda brought her grandma.
She was
Oh
probably,
yeah, her grandma was sitting there watching us beat the shit out of Jesus with
Uh-uh.
the science stick. Yeah.
That's cool.
She even went up and hit Jesus.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I missed that.
It wasn't like she didn't like break the shit open or anything, but yeah, she went up and gave it a whack.
She gave it a grandma whack.
Yeah.
That's the post show name.
So, Pew Research Center this week came out with a religious study that they've done, and the really interesting. Are you? Can you be done with that? It's not. It's hot, but it's not that hot. I mean, you're not going to die or anything. You're not going to die. Okay, so the Pew Research Center came out with a religious. Give me the
I'm fucking hot. Let me have this one.
for the love of God.
They make noise. That's why you
Turn on
can't
the
do
fucking
it.
fan then. God.
The worst.
The
ever.
fan makes noise too.
And everyone was like complimenting you during the show, and you deserve none of it.
Yeah, they're like, Tony's the best part of the show. And I'm sitting here like, what about
What
me?
about
I know. I don't even know why we do the show, Red.
All right. Anyway,
I'm
there's a poll.
sweating.
You are sweating. It's gross. You're not sweating. You're glistening. They were talking about how often people thank God for something, ask God for help, or get angry with God. The really interesting part of this study is that they broke out atheists and agnostics. And in the last week, 18% of agnostics said they thanked God for something. It's like 1 in 5 atheists.
I know, like,
I say
reflexively,
thank God,
yeah,
but I
sometimes I'd
don't
be like,
mean it.
oh, thank God. Like, but I'm just not like, I'm
You're not actually
literally
thanking
thinking
God.
God.
Right.
So is that what they're talking about?
I don't know. I mean, it's...
I'm pretty sure.
How do they word the question?
Fuck you too. I'm pretty sure. I'm
Like,
not.
did they say, like, in the course of your day, do you literally think about God and thank Him for the works He does? Or is it, have you at some point said the phrase, thank God?
That's
Right.
probably what happened. I can't prove it, but I'm sure.
So
No,
That's
no.
it.
it really depends on how they word the phrase. Because if it's just like, have you said thank God in the last month? Yeah, I've said that reflexively.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, "Oh my Lord," a lot.
I'd say that.
So that might be what it is. But moving on to some of the other results, 3% say they got angry with God within the last week.
Yeah, see, that one's more difficult to explain
Yeah.
away.
Well, I don't know if it is because like you could be angry at Darth Vader, right? You're like,
You know what? I mean, it also kind of depends on how
you
they
killed the younglings,
I've always had a crush on him.
right?
I mean, if you're, being asked the question when they say, were you angry at God? Are you interpreting that as, are you literally angry at a being called God? Or are you just mad about religious bullshit that happens
Right.
around you? Depending on how it's interpreted.
Right.
don't know.
I can see how that would happen. Now you would say
Because I get
whatever.
angry at religious shit all the time. Doesn't mean I'm angry at God.
I hear it as an atheist who registers on the agnostic scale. Like, when I hear angry at God, I don't think, are you angry with religion? It's, are you angry at God? I'm like, no, that's stupid. He's not real.
Well, I mean, I can say that, if you read the Bible, I get angry. I get angry with the actions of
story,
this
just like-
this character in this story, whatever. So I could answer that question, yes. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably say, I mean, if Pew Research came up to me, I
Yeah.
would probably say no because he's not fucking real. So, but I mean, 3%.
They wouldn't even quote that part. They would
Yeah,
quote
probably
the
not.
second half.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a yes or no question. So, but here's the one that's really interesting. because I don't think you can really squirm out of this. 13% of all atheists and agnostics say that within the last week they have asked God for help.
Once again, I know I've reflexively said, "Oh, please God, help!"
Yeah.
Oh my God, like
Really?
I have reflexively said things like that. And if they
Yeah.
and if the question was, just the last month, have you ever? It's like, oh yeah, I have something like, "Oh please God, oh," you're like, "Oh God, oh shit," like that's things that I say. And if it was worded in such a way, I would feel obligated to tell the truth and say yes. But if it was like saying, do you pray to God and hope that he will come and intercede on your behalf for something, then I'd obviously say no.
The other thing I wanted to bring out, and the reason I was really interested in this, was because I found when I was just deconverting for the first maybe 5 years that I had deconverted, I would find myself praying. I mean, just reflexively, because I was used to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would sit there and say, what the fuck are you doing? This
Well, I would
is
never
really
like
stupid.
do like the oh please,
I did that.
It would be
Yeah.
a reflexive like, oh Jesus, or like, oh my God.
No. I literally would find myself falling into the old theistic habits that I had before I realized how dumb it was. And I would be,
Halfway into an Our Father before you realize
Yeah.
you're talking to yourself.
yeah.
I know, like
seriously.
sometimes sarcastically, like, oh my God, please. But like,
No, I
it's
still
not
do
like-
that. I still do that.
Yeah.
I don't find myself praying like that anymore. But for, like I said, the first few years that well,
Well, I never really prayed to God so
Really?
often. Like I prayed at church and then like before meals and stuff. But I never like going through my day and be like, oh no, like I need to make a better grade on this test.
I
so
totally did.
I'm gonna sit
Me
here
too.
and dear God, please help me. Like I never really used him as a way to intercede in my life. It was
You
just
weren't asking for favors.
yeah.
I was.
I prayed
I
when I
totally
was
was, all the
expected
time.
to.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember praying like, "Please, God, let me have a seat in the back during PE because I was really, really overweight and I didn't want anybody sitting behind me making fun of me."
Yeah,
I would pray for stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
And
No,
I did the same shit that you did, like the first few years of being an atheist. I remember my aunt went to the hospital and they said that she was gonna die, and because she was losing so much blood, and I was like, "Please, God, please!" And I was like, "What the fuck? What am I
Yeah.
doing?" I was confused,
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was like, you don't even believe this. Why are you doing that? I'm like, and the other thing is that, like blasphemy, like what we did in the park this weekend with JC. I could not have done that in the first few years that I was an atheist, even though I was an atheist and I believed that there was nothing. I mean, I just couldn't because I was so indoctrinated that
You still felt like it was disrespectful and
well, I mean, it just made my skin crawl. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is not.
it didn't feel right. You felt dirty.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Anonymous 4290 gets me.
Because you are so smart, Reb, there was no need to pray to pass tests.
That's right. I don't know who that is,
Clearly-
but they get me.
Clearly, 4290 does not know you. Because if they knew you, they would not stroke your ego that way. Not that you're just not a smart guy, but your ego needs no stroking at all. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
No.
It was good to have the week off last week. I ain't gonna lie. That's the first time in like almost 3 years that.
I felt empty not having a show last week.
Are you ever gonna retire?
Oh, someday I'm sure.
I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, the Tuesday came around. It's like, I guess I'll jerk off instead.
I'll just have to look in the dildo drawer.
Let me pull out my Tinga egg.
You have to show me your dildo drawer the next time we play games at your house.
Right? Whoa, what kind of games are you playing in his house?
The games that we played last time.
Sure.
For people listening, they still don't know what you're talking about.
And that's the way it shall remain. We will see you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go Donald Trump. It's so sad.
Oh, is it Josh? Oh, whatever.
Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.
Uh,
I feel like we've been talking for 3 hours.